place where truth is established, you go and associate with that.
Jai Jai Shri Radheshyam, and welcome to this first episode of Vedic Cosmology. In this holy occasion, we are celebrating the first episode of this series together with the celebration of the Ratha Yatra. Jagannath Ratha Yatra is starting today, the day of this recording, and we have an incredible interview with Shri Chandan Goswami Vaishnavacharya. Dandavat Pranams Goswamiji. I am very happy to be here with you and to provide this conversation to all the bhaktas, all the sadhakas worldwide.
Jai Radharaman Lala. It's my pleasure to be here with you and with all your listeners, and I hope I would justify this interview.
Our first meeting in Vrindavan, when I did the first interview to you, it was an absolutely mind-blowing experience. I must say that for the ones who are watching the videos and watching maybe for first time this, maybe that video didn't have like 1 million views, but I had, after several months, like devotees from different parts of the world writing me, it's the first time in my life I hear something like this, and I am so happy and glad to have this information from where I can start doing a deeper investigation.
Is it a initiating mantra or not? Yes, it is 100% initiating mantra because it's a Vedic mantra. Now is a Mahamantra. Saptakoti Mahamantra. Vyapako Lok Pavana. Gopal Shastra Nam. It says there are 70 million Mahamantras. And 70 million Mahamantra is the name of Krishna. 70 million Mahamantra. Out of 70 million Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is one of the mantra. If you read Gopal Shastra Nam, his name, Krishna's name is Saptakoti Mahamantra.
It is how it's going. Even devotees from Brazil, from South America, Europe, they have been writing me, hey, can you provide more information? Is any book on this topic? So it was a deep impact. Maybe not many views, but quality views. So,
at the end, it is, we all do our services to, our Priya Priyatam, and it is there. It's at their lotus feet. We do all these services, and I know that however and whatever they want, it happens at the end, because as he says that you do the karma and I'll give you the result. So we, as a Bhakti Yogi, are not seeking the result. We are just doing the part of the seva which is given to us by our Gurudevs.
Jai. Today, we will speak about Vedic cosmology. That is a very big topic that I have been covering a little bit on the channel previously, but from a critical point of view in terms of what is not. Mainly based on Bhagavatam and some different studies who are speaking about this Vedic cosmology from Indian and non-Indian writers and researchers. And I would like to go like step by step in this series that we are covering 4 different episodes of 30 minutes each. And from there, I will start opening different questions in terms of this. My first question will be, which difference do you see mainly between the Western cosmology and the Vedic cosmology?
The experience, I would say, because let's say if there are scientists and those scientists, create one spaceship or even a telescope to just look what the cosmos is like, and whatever power they have in their spaceship or in the telescope, so they can only see to the certain degree and to the certain level, not beyond to that, right? So in a very same way, this is my understanding, and I can be very wrong, but in the non-Hindu or non-Vedic cosmologies have a limit when they talk about the different
cosmos. But when it comes to Sanatan Dharma, or so here we have like all the different planets, descriptions, and all. So at the end, it is all about which spaceship did you have, which telescope you had, how did you really travel, and what did you really find in there, and then you describe in there. There was one yogi in late 1970s. On that time, NASA came up with the announcement that they were going to create a spaceship to go to the Mars. So that yogi is a very famous yogi of that time. He sat down and he was like, "Oh, you are going to create a spaceship of a Mars. I can go to the Mars and figure it out what is there." And in 5 minutes, he actually traveled, by his soul, went to Mars and gave 20 understandings. And after 20 understandings, they were published in the newspapers and everything. People were making fun of that. But once, the project Mars was finalized by NASA and the spaceship went to the Mars, and then they found out of 20, 18 points were 100% valid, which were given by that yogi. So, again, like what your experience is, and those experiences are mentioned in our scriptures, and that's what I believe, that our depth of the cosmology is more vast and different than the non-Vedic or non-Hindu cosmologies.
Wow, I never hear about this case about the yogi, but on my humble research, I also find out what the yogis, the riches, have been saying. And as you say, the main force of NASA or any space agency worldwide is the telescope or the rockets, the computers. But it's not the same when you can go and walk there, experience the life. And this is exactly what our Puranas or our texts are telling, that the riches did actually, to travel different planets, to see the life, to even describe how the life is in different planets. Things that are absolutely impossible to measure by any number. Any scientific project cannot do this at this time, at least. Do you have there the name, or can you find the name of this yogi that later on?
Yes, 100%. There must be many blogs or something. I'm very sure about it. And he, with the pointed what he had claimed after going to the Mars, by just sitting in his yogic posture for 5 minutes, and then his soul traveled all the way from here to the Mars. And all the each points, detailed points, mentioned, they were published in some newspapers as well as in the magazines.
Wow, that's fantastic. I will research this, and definitely I will publish this information. Super interesting. In terms of the universe, can you explain, based on the Vedic cosmology, how the yugas, the cycles, the time of the universe is measured, how this works? We know that we have the 4 yugas, they are repeating 4 times and all this. Can you to explain for the newcomers?
It's very difficult to because it's like a multiverse theories on everything. In the scriptures, the easiest way is there is a one cycle of some millions of years. Like usually we say this right now the Kali Yuga have a few 100,000 years of span, and if you double that, then becomes Dwapar Yoga, and then afterward if you double that becomes Treta Yoga, and afterward you double it, that again it's like so many years are like combined in there, then it becomes one yoga. And then after, so if collective, so many of those yogas become a one manvantar. So there are so many, a different or difficult way to explain to a newcomers. But I would say our theory or our the philosophy of the cosmology is mentioned in a way that everything actually starts in Satya Yoga and by God Himself, and he's the one who puts His family first to start the whole cosmos. And then very beautiful details are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 4th canto also, when the Dhruv Maharaj story is mentioned, and in there he usually mentions that how he sends all the qualities and the bad qualities also. How it comes out from Brahma, and like whatever the good qualities and the bad qualities we get in our life, they are the part of the creation. So usually this is not what is mentioned in our in any other cosmologies, right? Like you come as a soul or as a body, right? But how do you get good qualities? How do you get bad qualities? What are good qualities? What are bad qualities, right? And how do you get that? It's like a disease, right? Was it always there, or it came, or you actually produced it once and then you spread it in others? How does it happen? So in every yuga, we say, or let's say when there's a starting happens of every yoga, the beginning of human life, all these qualities are also generated by God and is given by God to us, the good and bad, to experience this life. If you don't have a good quality and a bad quality, if you are neutral, you cannot experience the life.
Correct.
This is my personal belief that, if any forefather from the 20 generation ago, appears right now and says something like, okay, I'm your forefather. You are in a lineage, in my lineage after 20th generation, and you would be like, I don't care. So the cosmology as my personal understanding is that it gives us the basic understanding of that how human life really starts. But at the end of the day, you have to take that as an information. You don't need to spend too much of time into it to really like get into, in the scientific methods. So getting into like what's the period of Kali Yuga, what is the period of Dwapar, Treta or Satya Yuga, and how many yugas are there, how many manvantars are there, after how many yugas Brahma changes, after how many yugas Indra changes. All of these becomes a part of our understanding only, the basic understanding. But the goal of us or any human being is to be a better person after understanding that. That on which time period you are in which era you are in. I remember when I was little, I was actually watching a kid playing PlayStation. So he was in the middle of a of some game. It was a story game, and I was like, "Oh, can you teach me? I want to play from here." So he was like, I started it from the beginning. I cannot create you right now, to play from this very moment in this story game. If you want to play, you have to come from the you have to come from the beginning. You have to start from the beginning, right? So I was like, if we say that everything here is a pastime of Krishna, but I was like, these characters which we are playing right now and during this PlayStation game time, the different yogas or the different labels, different labels, but you have a certain role in that pastime, that, and there is a free will of acting, that you become a part of his pastime in a way that you are appeared in this material world, but he gives you a free will that you play your role in a very correct way. So my understanding is that I don't need to know too much about what has happened in the past. I do not want to know what is going to happen in the future. What I need to know that how to really live in a present life and be a very good devotee to play the best part, of my role in this movie. And that's why I remember, like in our South India, in the southern side of India, there was a very famous saint, and he had written a verse, but the meaning of that verse is, "Oh God, I have played 8.4 millions of roles in my life. If you did not like my acting, please call me back. If you liked any of my acting, please call me back."
Very
So for a newcomer, I would say the basic understanding of that, what the cosmology is, it has to be understood. But we shouldn't really get into that too much, that where we get bewildered, confused about how is everything is, because our mind can have its own limits also. So our teachers, masters have gone through with all of that. They have given us the vast knowledge, about this whole cosmology. But what is more important right now is to understand the basic. And the basic is that what is our present? And the present is, we are at that stage, or the first stage of Kali Yuga. What are the pros and cons of this stage or this period, and how to live, and how not to come back in this world again.
Yes, good point. Very good point. So there is the big puzzle of the cosmos. Talking about the Loka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swarloka, etc. Our platform, our planet is called Urloka, Bhudevi, right?
Bhulok.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lok or Bhumandal.
Bhumandal.
Yes. Normally I found, like, mainly in Bhagavatam, they use this word Mandalakriti and Bhumandal. What is your understanding on what this platform or mandala is? How it looks like?
It looks like whatever we see right now. I mean, we are living here, we see whatever it is. But according to, I take you back to as a Bhakti Yogi. In the 14 abodes, 7 on top and 7 on down, Bhuloka is the only place where you have a free will to do any kind of actions. And the other abodes, up and down, they are the fruits of all the actions which you have performed here. So this earth is actually made for all the souls to perform any actions by our free will, good or bad. So even the gods, if they want to worship, if they want to do, because we read in our scriptures that there were so many asuras who had done some tapasyas. They were gods like Brahma, Indra, and different other ones. Whenever they wanted to do any kind of austerity, they all came down to this earth. They never did it in Asurloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, anywhere else. They all did that on Bhuloka only, on Bhumandal. So this place is for your action, good or bad. And whatever actions you will perform here, you will get the fruit accordingly. So this planet, obviously, if we read in the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, this was not the right place to live. But then there was a king Prathu who actually came with his plow and tried to equal the land in a way, because there were so many big holes and the mountains, and it was not right to live and survive on this planet. Then Prathu Maharaj, he came and he plowed the whole place, or the entire Bhumandala 27 times. And after doing that, this place actually became livable.
So also they say in Buddhism, they also understand the same, that this platform, this planet, is the place where everything is possible by will, that we can choose whatever we do, but it will get its results, its karma, so we can ascend to superior planets or go down to inferior planets. So since we are in this platform, many questions regarding to Vedic cosmology also are in the focus of what is the real shape of the universe, because it seems like there is a contradictory theories between Western science, or actually the main science worldwide, and all the ancient traditions worldwide, counting Vedic vision, Bible, Hebrew, Muslims, and the native aboriginal from the planet, like indigenous from North America, South America, etc. All of them, counting Egyptians, etc., they have one idea of a planet Earth that looks more or less like a mandala. And I find so interesting that in our texts is exactly the description that is a mandala, and in our shastras reads that the Bhumandal extend as far as the corners of the limits of the universe, this platform, and we are living more or less in the central area where the sun and moon are rotating. So this idea is extremely interesting from a spiritual point of view, because it shows us a different approach to what the universe is. Back in time, they used to think that we are the center of the universe. But if we take it from an ego point of view, it sounds very wrong. We are the center of the universe. But if we took this idea from a spiritual point of view, I found it quite super interesting, because we are in the center of the universe. God is looking here and living here, right where these souls, jivas, are, where all riches have been appeared, all the big sages and the avatars have been showing up. So in this understanding, what is your vision on this? I know this can be a little bit, like some people have very hard beliefs on what science have been telling, or spiritual books have been telling, but how you see this contradiction, how to harmonize these things?
See, again, if we come back to like what I was speaking in the beginning of this, interview, and I was just saying that everyone have their different, telescopes and spaceship. So if you are coming up and saying something about this modern cosmology ideas, I have no problem with them. But the only thing is they are still researching. Whereas our masters have already researched and put their papers, which is known as scriptures. And whatever they are trying to find now, whatever these new modern scientists are trying to find, is very much inclined to what our scriptures have already spoken. There's not a very different ideas or philosophies, and many of the ideas are very in the modern cosmology is very hypothetical. You name it, many of them actually are very hypothetical, that this is what my understanding is, this is how the formula works, this is how it happens, and this is what it is, hence it is proved. But it is not hence it is proved. But according to the time, place and circumstances, that's the relative truth for them right now. But for some people, that relative truth becomes the absolute truth. This is my understanding, this is my thing, and I don't budge from that. But when the scientists are actually looking for the I would say answers of this cosmology, I cannot really comment right now until or unless they really come up with a solid proof of that. How does this entire universe look like? The China is making the biggest telescope of the world, right now, which might look beyond to the sky, which none another telescope have ever looked at, right? So they are trying to look, and our masters have experienced that by sending their souls to travel to the different planets and abodes, and they had their experiences, and they have written their experiences in there. So definitely I usually see, for me the cosmology is very different in a way, like that my idea is that I always keep myself practical on this, that whether I'm in a center or I'm not in a center, but right now this is my play, this is my game, this is what I have to do to reach to the certain planet, after the good deeds. Yeah. So in the material world, if we talk about our cosmology, in the material world, if we say we are on the center level, but if we are talking about the entire universe, then we are not at the center at all, because there are multi universes. So in the multi universes, we read that there are multi earths are there. When we are talking about multi earths, those multi earths are different than like our earth. So I cannot say that we are that we are in the center of all the universes. I would only say that we are the part, or we are at the center of this universe when it comes to the material planets.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is like how you changes the gears, and then there is a neutral, right?
Yes.
Of the cars or the bikes or whatever. So this is a neutral place where you do good, you go. If you do bad, you meet accident, and then something wrong happens. The place where truth is established, you go and associate with that.